you said it first. Like you said, before we think of who's in there or whatever, it starts with a feeder.
Yeah.
It starts with that youth football team first, where the kids are developing first. Because, I mean, coming into high school, a lot of kids start playing football coming into high school. But if the kids are starting to play earlier in a feeder program, in a youth program, then you will have that source of, like, I don't want to say an amateur league before high school, but think about it like this: like, the college football is a feeder program or an amateur league for the NFL, and it has to be the same way for high school.
Yep.
You know, it has to be some type of development happening with the kids that are playing the sport before they actually get into high school.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yep, I
think Providence has the Junior Celtics feeder program. I think Lincoln Way East has the was it the Frankfurt? They all changed it now.
Yeah.
It's like Frankfurt Falcons or something. I can't remember,
sure.
but they were all at the game. Oh, even when we was at St. Rita, you see how many feeder programs we saw at St. Rita? I think we
all
saw
the kids,
Crete. I think we saw a few other.
I think I forgot the Ravens. Was it Joliet or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah. But yeah, like, we saw feeder programs there.
Yeah.
And what do we always say? Who do you think these who do you think these Catholic League schools are getting their players from?
From your communities. Like, so that's why I keep saying, look, I don't want to hear it no more. Like, the narrative is dead. Like, I did the research, and you could do the research yourself. Go to the IHSA playoffs, and I just did it from 2009. Like, you go back further if you want, but it's not a huge gap statistically. It's not a huge gap between the Catholic or private schools winning and the public schools winning. It's very close. You know what I mean? And public has won more times overall, but head to head, when public schools face off against private schools, since 2009, Catholic have won 16 games, public has won 13. That don't sound like a blowout to me. That don't sound like a large gap. That doesn't look alarming to me. That looks competitive. That looks like public or schools are competing with the private schools competitively. Like, I don't see it how they see it. Like, I don't know what they're seeing, but it just sounds like a cop out to me. It's just like, we want a chance to win. Well, that's not life. You won't always get a chance to win. You know, everybody can't be a champion. So,
because even if you think about it, like, for us, a team that we covered all year that I mentioned was Richards, and they have been good consistently since I've been in high school, and they in the same conference as us. What's the excuse there?
Yeah.
For the teams
that they have to
like,
face it, it's like, you just have to get better. At the end of the day, you just look at Lamont on the other side of it.
Exactly.
I think Lamont has won the conference championship the last decade.
And
they
I guarantee
control.
You, they have a feeder program they pull from out there.
And that's what it's about. Winning the state championship is a very difficult thing to do. It's not simple. So
guarantee I'm putting in all this work in the all season. All season. I can dominate all season. Putting in work in the all season. All season. So I can dominate all season. Putting in work in the all season. All season.
Welcome to another episode of the Off-Season Podcast. This is episode 28. And just like that, the state finals is upon us.
Yes, sir.
The state finals is upon us. I remember when we first started, back in August, covering the season, and it just went in an instant like that, bro.
Yeah, bro.
In an instant like that. Next thing you know, we was doing a mid-season recap. Then we did a playoff preview, win or go home, and now we here.
Yep.
The final two teams of each class. Man, this is insane. Man, we got to see some semifinals games last week. Lincoln Way East versus Loyola, which should have been the state championship game, probably.
Should have been.
But we already said our piece about that. But the fact that they met up in the semifinals, the game did not disappoint, man. Like, I was there personally. I know I was, doing the full game highlights and everything, but I got there super early. I even got a video of the fans lining up like 2 hours in advance, like before the kickoff of the game, like being ready for the game. And it was, man, the atmosphere was electric. It was so many videographers there. It was so many like fans there, people surrounding the field. Loyola's fans came out. Lincoln Way East student section obviously came out. Their fan section came out. They even had a section for the alumni fans on one side of the end zone for Lincoln Way East. That game was probably, hands down, unequivocally, game of the year, bro. Like, definitely game of the year. Did you get a chance to see the highlights yet?
Yeah, I saw the highlights. Yeah, bro, it was a good game. I wish I could have actually been there in person, bro.
Bro, it was electric.
Yeah, bro. Like that's I definitely want to see that game from last year. The last couple years they played each other, and it's crazy. I mean, it just seemed like Loyola got their hand, man. Like they just they know how to win. Man, they know how to win.
When the game first started, bro, because it was loud. For one, that was probably the loudest game I've been to. The other game that was probably louder than that, I mean, not louder, that as loud as that, was the Loyola versus Mount Carmel. But this game was different because obviously it was a playoff field. It was a rematch of the state championship last year. But even when you see from the beginning of the video, the camera was kind of shaking for me, bro, because it was so many people. It was yelling. I seen Loyola's people, like the players on the sideline, like jumping and jumping on the sideline and everything. It was crazy. But like the second play of the game, they Lincoln Way East, Jonas Williams threw a touchdown pass to who's number 3 again? Talon White, yeah. To really set the tone of the game though. Yeah. Like to really set the tone of the game. And then I'm looking at like one of the Loyola people, I'm like, oh, that was quick. Like
it's gonna be one of those. So what was your thoughts? Like, did you think like it's gonna be like a blowout, or you thought like it's gonna be a shootout?
So watching Loyola play all season, I knew it wasn't gonna be a blowout because what they do well is make adjustments throughout the game, mainly in the second half. But seeing that happen as quick as it did, I'm thinking like, oh, this is about to be it. Yeah. Like I knew for a fact from the jump, I'm like, first touchdown that quick, this is about to be it. And it wasn't even like it was like a deep touchdown. It was like a little slant, caught the ball, and then he just burnt everybody. Just burnt everybody. And you can see it in the full game highlights. Check it out. But that was crazy, bro. So when it started off like that, I'm like, whoa, what are we in for? And then next series, Loyola comes down and they're about to score and they're threatening to score. And then Lincoln Way East make a good stop on defense and they had to kick a field goal. That was another thing that I like about the game. The field goals. They kicked a lot of field goals because obviously they were scoring touchdowns, but the field goals is what I think majority of the points for Loyola came, I think, because I think Loyola had a touchdown before the end of the half. Mm-hmm. I know they had 2 field goals to start the game off to get 6 points. So, yeah, I believe that, and then they got 2 touchdowns in the second half. But, yeah, I mean, it was great field goal kicking, too. It was just an all-around great game, bro. Like, as far as we've seen a lot of games this year, you know what I mean? Like, I can't remember the number now at this point.
I think it's pushing 20. Yeah. I think it's pushing over 20.
It has to be more than that.
Pushing over 20 because it's something we didn't even post yet.
Oh, yeah, it's some of the archives.
It's games we didn't even post yet.
Yeah, so, but back to my point is that watching this game, it was, like I already said, it's hands down game of the year. But the main thing is that how well each team played. I mean, it was probably some things that Lincoln Way East could have did better with being more disciplined. But that game was everything you would hope to be until the very end.
Talk about that. I've been seeing comments, people saying like
it was the most I seen one comment that said this was probably the most anticlimactic ending to a game I've ever seen. And I want to say to you, it was. Because when I was watching the game in person, because when Loyola took the lead, probably was it 27-16, I believe. When Loyola took that lead, I'm like, man, this game it's over with. It's done. And then Lincoln Way East comes back the next possession, and Jonas throws a bomb down the field, and then very next play he scores a touchdown. I'm like, damn, that was probably within like a minute.
Right.
I'm like, oh, this is a game. And then Lincoln Way East came back and made a very big stop. What the highlight didn't show, it was that Loyola was marching down the field, but Lincoln Way East made very big stops to force a punt in that situation. They had to use all their timeouts, but they forced a punt, and it was about 50. It was a little bit over 50 seconds left in the game. And I'm thinking, like, if I know Loyola, and I've been watching them a lot, they're gonna punt it, like, because it was in their best interest to punt it just because Lincoln Way East was playing good defensively on that possession. But I had that feeling. I'm like, they're probably gonna make them jump off sides. Like that's just what smart coaching would do. Right. You know what I mean? Like you have a good disciplined team, as Loyola's shown like throughout the season. They've been very, very good at being disciplined, better than other teams. Sometimes it sets them apart on what causes them to win versus a loss. You know what I mean? Being a very good disciplined team. And watching that play, I'm like filming it. I'm like, I think they're gonna try to get him to jump off sides. And the first thing they do, they get up, look to the left, jumped off sides, and that was the game. I'm like, oh my gosh, I knew they was gonna do it, bro. I wish, just the fan in me and the spectator in me wish that Lincoln Way East didn't jump off sides, because I really want to know what would have happened that next series.
Right.
If you're asking me personally, I think Lincoln Way East would have came back down and scored and won the game. I really do think so, because you got to see the series before. Jonas threw a freaking cannon, bro. Like, you can see it in the full game highlights. A cannon. I'm talking about like so high in the air, so archy, and the dude just caught it like at the lowest point. It was the craziest thing ever, and I really think with how quick they scored that previous series and how much it showed that they can score down the field, I think they would have scored like real quickly in under 50 seconds to win the game. I really do think they would have. And then they got a 2-point conversion in the series before that.
Right.
I know I'm rambling, but man, that game was freaking insane, bro. Yeah. And then nothing beats the environment of actually being there. You can watch the full game highlights all you want. Mm-hmm. You can hear people talking about it or whatever, but it was one of those games like you had to sincerely be there to feel what was going on. Right. Because that real life felt like a college atmosphere. I really wish I got more B-roll of the stands, the around the stands, people near the end zone, the alumni section, like Loyola section or whatever. I wish I would have got all of it, bro, because it was insane, bro. It was like the biggest game. And like I said, we've been to a lot of games this year. Yeah. It was hands down the biggest game that I've been to this year. Right. Hands down, bro.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, that's crazy. So, like, as far as because you've seen East St. Louis play, you've seen Lincoln Way play, you've seen Lincoln Way, Loyola. So what do you think that like Lincoln Way pairs up to like an East St. Louis, like as far as like talent, speed, like what you've seen? Like, if they play, how do you think that will go?
So I saw East St. Louis play week 1. Mm-hmm. And the way I saw East St. Louis play in week 1, I thought they were, because remember what I said, I don't know if I said the last episode or a couple episodes ago, but I was saying that the first game of the season and the last game of the season can be like night and day. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I saw East St. Louis play the first game and they looked crisp as ever, and then them just dominating teams throughout the season, they just dominated Richards. It's hard to tell. Right. I will also say I saw Loyola play week 1 of the season. They were a completely different team than I've seen them play Lincoln Way East. So it's hard to tell, bro. Like, I don't know. I would love to see Loyola's team now play that East St. Louis team from week 1. You know what I mean? Yeah. To get a better matchup. But East St. Louis, I ain't gonna lie, they different.
I would love for East St. Louis to be in 8A.
But yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like just for the games, like the potential games we can see.
Because they running through like
6A is
because Richards has such a great season, bro. like here's my thing. Richards has such a great season. Yeah. That, and hear me out, Richards fans and the Barstool pages.
You know they're gonna be on you, bro. You better watch what you say.
I seen Richards play a bunch of games this year, and I saw East St. Louis play once. And I kind of knew the outcome of the game, and it wasn't based on skill. It was more so based on size. And it was like they were just way bigger. I seen them play Loyola, bro. Like, they dominated Loyola. I seen how fast they were. And I watched Richards play, and it was a gap. Like, I knew it was a gap. That's not to say that like they shouldn't have gone out there and compete, because I'm pretty sure in their heads and what their coaches was preaching to them, like, man, we don't care about none of that. Right. We come into this game, we're gonna compete.
For sure.
And it was a lopsided game, but it just sucks to see that East St. Louis, a team like that, is in 6A, because they're clearly the best team in the state. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna say it again, they're probably top 10 best team in the nation, bro. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that they only lost 1 point to IMG Academy, man, they're clearly one of the best teams in the nation. And it's like, it sucks that Richards had to play them.
Yeah,
and like, it sucks because I really, with being from the SSC, obviously we were from the other side of it, but I wanted to see Richards win a state championship. Bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, and I think if East St. Louis wasn't there, I mean, then again, they would have to see Geneva on the other side, right?
Exactly.
So it's like, we'll see how that game will go. You know,
Yeah.
St. Louis made.
Yeah, and the
maybe
thing
a
is,
good
we was talking about the Cary Grove East St. Louis rematch, but Geneva shut that down, and Geneva's been playing great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that receiver's crazy.
Yeah,
bro.
yep.
Slowshane got some
Talent
crazy.
Taylor.
He got some crazy highlights of him.
Yeah, Georgia commit. Yeah, bro, it's
Georgia
crazy,
commit.
but
crazy.
yeah.
And that quarterback, man, obviously the receivers go,
right.
Bro, the quarterback was throwing darts down, bro.
Yeah.
If you looking at it, it's like, whoa. I even seen it in one of the comments on the highlights of that game from on Slowshane's page is that it was like, man, forget the Georgia commit. Who was that quarterback? Who was that quarterback?
Yeah, bro. So
Yeah,
we gonna have a good one, man. We got some nice state championship games to look forward to.
5A, I believe, is St. Francis rematch of last year. St. Francis versus not St. Francis. Nazareth versus Joliet Catholic. St. Francis played Naz.
Yep.
And got whooped. But Nazareth versus Joliet Catholic. 6A is East St. Louis versus Geneva.
Yeah.
7A is Mount Carmel versus Batavia.
And I like that, man. I think
that's gonna be
game of the day. I think that's gonna be game of the day. I'm looking forward to. Yes, I think the Batavia, Mount Carmel, and they've seen each other a couple times in the playoffs. Yep. So Isaiah Brown, Nathan Whithead. So
Whitwell.
Yeah. Nathan Whitwell. Yeah. So bro, that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game for sure. I was just telling
he's a beast, bro. That's a big, stocky guy. And the one thing that I seen Loyola do well against Mount Carmel when they played, they was having their way with running the ball.
Yeah.
Well, with Drew McPherson. Drew McPherson's a dog. But with Nathan Whitwell, he's a big running back. And when we saw them play against, was it Glenbar West?
Yeah, it was Glenbar West, yeah.
Glenbar West, first game of the season, he was running through all of them.
Yeah.
So if I'm thinking, like I said, seeing them week 1 and they're in the state championship now, I'm pretty sure it's like night and day for them, and they probably only gotten better.
Right.
That I don't know, man. It's gonna be a good one to see. And then knowing Mount Carmel, I know they got a lot of young guys on the defensive end that Coach Draco was telling me about. So man, it's gonna be a good one to see for sure.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I was telling you about the lineman they got is 14 years old.
They got they got a pipeline. That's what they do well, bro.
Yeah.
That's what they do well. Think about it like this. Their top receivers. I can't get their names right now, but I do know that one of them is a sophomore, I believe, and I think the other one is a freshman.
Yeah.
The fact that they're already playing in a state championship,
man, it's crazy.
They have 2 to 3 more years left in a high school career.
Man,
that's a pipeline of athletes of they're gonna be ready by the time they're seniors, and then that's how you mold them to be great.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
bro.
The fact that you're giving them that exposure to play, to have, for one, a lot of varsity film. But 2, they're having that experience to understand situational football and understand different experiences going through high school without even being a senior yet, without even being an upperclassman. So it's like, man, that pipeline that Mount Carmel is building that you can clearly see, that the fact that they're already getting to a state championship is crazy. It's the same thing with Loyola last year.
Man,
they went undefeated last year. Back in the state championship, they probably about to repeat.
Man, and that really could lead us into the conversation that I want to have is that after this semifinal week, it's been people talking about restructuring the playoffs. You know what I mean? They want to take things away.
I saw Ryan Fitzgerald was quoted for something too about Lincoln Way East not playing a lot of the competition during the year, and it kind of showed late in the game a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just disagree personally. I mean, because like life, the journey to success is not fair. You know what I mean? So they're like, you can't force it to be fair. Like, everybody can't be a champion. Everybody won't win. You know what I mean? So just to go through all of these, hurdles and changes to try to make it fair so teams have a shot at winning, you just have to figure out how to beat the teams that are going to be there. Like we said about East St. Louis.
Go ahead, my bad.
No, go ahead.
No, I was saying because because I remember it was one that you sent me. They was talking about private school versus public school, and then it was saying that all the private schools beat public schools in the semifinals or whatever.
Yeah. They were 6-0. I think they were undefeated against the public schools during the semifinals.
So I guess it's gonna kind of segue to what you was about to say. Do you think there is a tremendous gap between private and public schools?
No,
in talent wise,
it's not. So hold on, let me look. So I was telling you, I had looked into it. So I had went on the IHSA playoff history, and I actually looked into it to see Because the narrative, like, because I don't believe in the narrative of what they say as far as like the Catholics are so much better than the publics. You really just have 2 to 3 Catholic schools that are dominating everybody, that are going to dominate. But
Loyola, Mount Carmel.
Loyola, Mount Carmel, NAS is in there too. But so I looked at it. So for the classes 4A through 8A, it's been 70 state championship games since the 2009-2010 season. Of those 70 games, 41 of those games were won by public schools and 29 were won by private schools. And then do you want better in exact head-to-head matchups in those state championship games? Public schools have won 13 times and private schools have won 16 times. You know what I mean?
So it's not that it's
pretty close. Like, I mean, it's close. You know what I mean? Like, so as far as public schools playing Catholic schools or private schools in the state championship, the amount of wins since 2009 is pretty similar. So just as of late, these last 2 years, the Catholic League has really dominated, like, to where it's on notice in the last 2 years. But there have been years like in the mid 2000s, 2013, something like that. The public dominated, swept 4A through 8A. Like, it was all public schools that won, and Mount Carmel was getting beat, Loyola was getting beat, NAS was getting beat. So I mean, I just feel like everybody has their time, but to go to the extent of saying like, look, we need to restructure the playoff and put, like, I don't think so. Figure out a way to win. I'm gonna keep saying it. Like, life isn't fair, and winning the championship isn't fair either. You have to beat the best.
Now, the one thing that I did say, because we was talking about this, we was talking about it very, very recently, but the one thing I did say is, like, you can only really kind of give an understanding and leeway to the schools that's underfunded.
Yeah.
Because with the schools that's underfunded, obviously they're like what your cousin you was talking about. He couldn't even make the roster just because they didn't have enough equipment.
Right.
So in situations like that, obviously those aren't the schools we're talking about, just because they obviously have a lot more other things outside of the sport going on that they don't have the funding to have, enough people on their team to have equipment for people on their team. So we're not talking about those schools, but with the schools that do have the funding, the public schools we're talking about in comparison to the private schools, really no excuse. Like, think about it like this, like Lincoln Way East is a public school and it's in the suburbs.
Yep.
I guarantee you they have a feeder program that they feed poor from.
Yeah, bro. And that's the problem that I have is that, like, let's look internally first. You know what I mean? It's not trying to change the structure of how things are. Look at the difference in how public schools were as far as football structure goes then and versus now, when they're losing. Like, they don't have the feeder programs, they don't have the structure that they used to have, they don't have the coaches they used to have. So it isn't about the schools per se, whether it be in private or public, because like I said, it's not a bunch of teams dominating. It's the same teams. You got Nazareth, you got Joliet Catholic has won 2 as of late, and you got Loyola, Mount Carmel. Like, that's what it is. Like, for the most part, St. Lawrence made an appearance, but you don't have just straight all Catholic schools dominating.
Did Joliet Catholic win 2 or Nazareth win 2?
What Joliet has won 2 in lately. Like, I think in the last decade they've won 2, something like that. So they've won 1. But I mean, it's really NAS, Mount Carmel, Loyola are the ones just dominating to where they got people thinking like, oh, we need to change everything. Like, no, we don't. Like, Lincoln Way East didn't get blown out by Loyola. No. It was a close game. They could have beat them. Game. And as far as talent goes, Lincoln Way East is full of Division I players. Loyola is full of Division I players. So it's matched evenly, and they aren't the only ones. You have your main South of the world. You have a bunch of these public schools that can compete. Batavia is going to be there. Geneva.
When we was in high school, Crete won the state championship.
Yeah, so it's
and they pulled a lot from their feeder.
I
know. So it's like, I mean, it's clearly like it's clearly things that these other public schools that we just mentioned, like Lincoln Way East and all the other ones, is that they're clearly doing something right.
They are.
And I think I agree with you when you say it's probably something that you got to look at internally first. But I do also remember what you said a few episodes back when we was talking about how can TF South, change things around. And then you said it first. Like you said, before we think of who's in there or whatever, it starts with a feeder.
Yeah.
It starts with that youth football team first, where the kids are developing first. Because, I mean, coming into high school, a lot of kids start playing football coming into high school. But if the kids are starting to play earlier in a feeder program, in a youth program, then you will have that source of, like, I don't want to say an amateur league before high school, but think about it like this: like, the college football is a feeder program or an amateur league for the NFL. And it has to be the same way for high school.
Yep.
You know, it has to be some type of development happening with the kids that are playing the sport before they actually get into high school.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yep, I
think Providence has the junior Celtics feeder program. I think Leakaway East has the was it the Frankfurt? They all changed it now.
Yeah.
It's like Frankfurt Falcons or something. I can't remember,
sure.
but they were all at the game. Oh, even when we was at St. Rita, you see how many feeder programs we saw at St. Rita? I think we saw Crete. I think we saw a few other.
I think I forgot the Ravens. Was it Joliet or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah. But yeah, like we saw feeder programs there. And what do we always say? Who do you think these Who do you think these Catholic League schools are getting their players from?
From your communities. Like, so that's why I keep saying, look, I don't want to hear it no more. Like, the narrative is dead. Like, I did the research, and you could do the research yourself. Go to the IHSA playoffs, and I just did it from 2009. Like, you go back further if you want, but it's not a huge gap statistically. It's not a huge gap between the Catholic or private schools winning and the public schools winning. It's very close. You know what I mean? And public has won more times overall, but head-to-head, when public schools face off against private schools, since 2009, Catholic have won 16 games. Public has won 13. That don't sound like a blowout to me. That don't sound like a large gap. That doesn't look alarming to me. That looks competitive. That looks like public or schools are competing with the private schools competitively. Like, I don't see it how they see it. Like, I don't know what they're seeing, but it just sounds like a cop out to me. It's just like, we want a chance to win. Well, that's not life. You won't always get a chance to win. You know, everybody can't be a champion. So
because even if you think about it, like for us, a team that we covered all year that I mentioned was Richards, and they have been good consistently since I've been in high school, and they in the same conference as us. What's the excuse there? For the teams that they have to
face it, is like you just have to get better. At the end of the day, you just look at Lamont on the other side of it. Exactly. I think Lamont has won the conference championship the last decade.
And they control. They have a feeder program they pull from out there.
And that's what it's about. Winning a state championship is a very difficult thing to do. It's not simple. So the team that has kids that have been playing together since they were little kids.
That's the reason why North was so successful last year.
Yeah, and even look at Morgan Park. You know what I mean? Like them dudes posting pictures, like throwback pictures. They little kids. They've been playing together forever. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you get these great teams.
Yeah, I did see that too.
You know what I'm saying? Dope. Yeah, Jovan had posted a picture and it just showed all of them together as shorties. And it's like, that's why they're so successful, because they've been playing together since 8, 9 years old, and they 17, 18. Like, if you play with somebody for 10, 12 years, of course y'all gonna be great. You know what I'm saying? So it's the feeder. Like, it's just, man, we don't need to change no playoff stuff.
No.
Teams just gotta get better,
cop out. I think that's a cop out and an excuse for one to just for schools that can't compete.
Yeah. Or don't want to compete. Not can't, but they don't want to. They don't want to put in the effort to have to compete. And maybe it's just a lack of coaches. Like, maybe the coaches aren't as good as they used to be. Like, because the coaches that coached us, they're obviously older now and they're retiring. And maybe it's just not an influx of younger coaches coming up wanting to coach and take these programs over.
I think there is.
Well, yeah, I think it is, but they just gotta want to go in that direction.
I know.
Yeah. But it's the schools still have to want to go in that direction, and they have to just put the pride to the side and understand, like, hey, it's a new age, it's a new time. So
I was at a Friendsgiving like a few weeks back, and I was talking to a lot of my homies from college about like, we was pretty much saying that, I can't remember how we got on the topic, but pretty much the topic of the conversation is that kids don't really follow programs. They follow the coach. And I think we was talking about like Travis Hunter and like Shadir Sanders. Obviously, Shadir Sanders is Deion Sanders' son.
Right.
But we was talking about like Travis Hunter, how, remember when Travis Hunter was committed to, I can't remember what school. I want to say
it was Florida State.
Yeah, he was committed to Florida State, and then he flipped to a school like Jackson State. And then people was like, why is he going to Jackson State? He ain't going to get no notoriety or this and that. We'll have to pay him, blah, blah, blah. And I don't think people understand, like, he's not following the school. Like, he can care less about what school he at. He wanted to play for that coach.
Right.
He wanted to play for Deion Sanders.
Right.
You know what I mean? So bringing it back to high school, I think it's the same thing. I really do truly believe that kids have to be like the coach has to have a certain type of relationship with the kids in the community to get them to, one, trust them, and two, want to play for them. You know what I mean? Trust leads to wanting to do things for your coach.
Yeah.
And like I said, we was talking about with Coach Pigs at North and how he's starting to change things around there.
Yep.
Is because we know him as a person.
Right.
We know, like, knowing him as a person, I know for a fact if I was a kid in high school, I would want to play for him.
Exactly.
Like, I know for a fact I want to play for him, because even if you take football out of it, like talking to him and having a conversation with him and having a genuine conversation with him, you're like, oh, this is a real cool dude. And I'm just like he could probably be a good mentor for me, just talking about life in general outside of the sport.
Yep.
I remember we was even talking about one of the players when we did the podcast with them before. I can't remember what player it was, but he was even talking about like, we had, me and him, we have conversations, many times about, life after football and everything like that. Cause he doesn't know if he wants to like try to play at the next level, but he does know he want to go to school and this and that. So we've been trying to figure that out for him and things like that. And we look at him like, oh shit. Like He's not even thinking about the X's and O's right now with this kid. Not only is he coaching him, but he's also trying to guide him through life.
Right.
And those are the type of coaches that you got to have running these schools, because those are the ones that's not going to help you like succeed in football, but they're going to help you succeed in life, man. I still remember the greatest coaches I've had to this day, from the Dalton Bears all the way up to playing like baseball in Dalton, playing baseball in Lansing. I remember those great coaches that I had, bro. And a lot of things that I like, things that I did in sports, I brought it with me in real life, because sports translate into real life.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when the game ends, not everybody's going to be able to play at the college level. Not everybody's going to make it to the league. So that's when it comes in. That's why it's important to have those coaches that not only care for the guys that's going to make it to the league or make it to the next level, they care about the guys that's not going to either.
Yeah.
And all of those guys on the team are just as important to the team's success.
Absolutely.
Just as important. I even seen something. I'm going on a rant right
now.
No,
go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I even seen something. I can't remember. I think the kid name on Morgan Park is DeAndre.
Okay, yeah.
And
defensive end.
What's Coach Ream is his name, right? Coach Ream. I see videos of Coach Ream like training him, like spending time with him, training him, and he will post like, this kid's only been playing football for 1 year. This kid's only been playing football for 2 years. To the point when I see them play Simeon, I didn't even know like how good he was playing. You would never have known that he just started playing football a few years ago.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it took a coach like Coach Ream to develop him, but also pretty sure he had to build that trust with him too, to get him to buy in, to develop and see that potential, to say, man, you're going to be one of the dogs for us on this football team. And he is.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So even something like that, like it takes those types of coaches, bro. Like I've been around them my whole life, and I've been on good teams, I've been on bad teams, and I can clearly see the difference of a good team, and I can clearly see the difference of a bad team I've been on. I'm gonna even give it another point. My bad.
No, keep
playing
going.
baseball in high school, bro. Playing baseball in high school. I was even telling Dan about it. My favorite year of playing baseball in high school was my senior year, because that was probably my favorite team that I was a part of in all of the sports that I played in high school. And the main reason is because that year, I wouldn't say we weren't bad, but we weren't the greatest team. But the one thing that we had that was undeniable, bro, we had the team chemistry like that. And the main reason when I think about why do we have so much good team chemistry, because we played with each other in Little League.
Exactly.
Because we knew each other for a long time. We even had kids play up, and we all knew each other for a very long time, because we played with each other in Little League, all the way to the point that it's my senior year. And I'm like, dang, we actually enjoy hanging out with each other outside. Like, it'll be times we'll have a game on Saturday, and then we'll be like, all right, shoot, what are we doing? Like, we're going to get something to eat real quick. Like, what type of team bonding are we going to do? Are we going to hoop today or whatever? But we actually genuinely enjoy being around each other, that I'm pretty sure that that equal to more wins that we probably shouldn't have won during that season. Like some games we probably shouldn't have won, just because we were so together and we had that team camaraderie, that it led to us just enjoying being around each other, whether we were winning or losing.
Yeah,
man, I'm telling you, bro,
sure,
goes, bro. I'm telling you, like success of a team goes so much more than just the skill that's in the locker room. What is a skillful player, or a player who has so much skill or whatever, if he's an asshole and can't lead his team?
Right.
What's a good coach or whatever if he doesn't know how to get his message across to his players, or he can't get his players to buy in to work out or be good in school, whatever? What does that mean? It means absolutely nothing until you can get kids to buy in and work together as a team. Work together as a team, because at the end of the day, this is a team sport. Nobody, not even the coach or one player or whoever, no one person can make a team be super successful. It's everybody from the weakest link to the strongest. Everybody is that super important to the success of a team. So even if you got the players that's clearly going to go to D1, that's clearly going to go to the league, that player that may not go to the league is just equally as important to the success of that team.
No, that's real.
I really truly believe that, bro.
That's real.
Yeah, I just kind of went on a rant.
No, but that's real, and that needs to be said and needs to be heard. And I think that is winning. Everything that you described, that is winning.
Yes,
like
bro.
the end goal is not a state championship, because that's just the goal that you have set out to put you on a journey. Like we're on this journey to go to a state championship, but that is not the end goal. The end goal is to create men, to create a team, create camaraderie. Like all of these things are going to come from you trying to reach a state championship. And if you get it, great. But like everything else, that's not what it's about. Even if you got a dream to go to the NFL, the likelihood of you going is very slim. But that journey that you're going to put yourself on to try to get there is going to make you the man that you need to be successful outside of the game. You know what I mean? So that's what winning is about. So forget restructuring the playoffs. Let's just get it right. Let's just get the organization and the foundation of these teams right.
Get the right people in there.
Yeah, let's get these young men right. Like that's what this is all about. And even though Morgan Park lost to Morris, and it was a heartbreaking loss, and we want to see
that was a great season.
It was a great season,
and the number one seed in 5A.
Yeah, but more so the development of the young men. Like I see them on Instagram and how they carry themselves and the bond that they have. Like that's more successful to me than winning the state championship, because that's gonna last forever. That's gonna last for a long time. And the men that coaching staff have created, they're gonna go out there and be great men, be great fathers, be great whatever, based off of this process that they went through for the 3-4 years that they was with them. That's winning. That's a state championship for me. I don't like. It's just extra if you can actually go win it, because it's so hard to do it. So forget trying to make it easier to do it, because you take away from that journey. You take away from how meaningful a state championship is if you try to alter it and then bring a different structure. And all right, the best teams go play in the open side and everybody else play here. Like, no, let the people go through the pain of losing. Lincoln Way East losing like that to Loyola, that's character building for those athletes. The dude that jumped outside, I'm sure he felt sick afterwards, but that's character building. He gonna go into life with that type of adversity on his chest, like, man, because of me, we lost the game. That's hard to say and it's hard to accept, but it is.
It builds character.
It builds that character. Like, all right, this will never happen again. And he might be a dog going forward. Like, I'm gonna be the most disciplined player ever. Like, you need those failures and losses in life. Like, you just need it. And if you're trying to protect these kids from those losses, you're creating weak men. And they won't be as successful. Like, let them go through the losses and pain, because in life, everybody can't win.
But it's up to the coach on how to teach them how to get through it.
Yes.
Because as a kid, they're not going to, like, because their brains aren't fully developed, right? So they're not going to fully understand how to accept it or how to navigate through it or how to bounce back. I'm not saying this is all kids, but some kids, you know, they don't know how to understand. They don't know how to take a loss. They don't know how to take criticism or whatever. But it's up to that coach or whoever is leading that team to not only pick them up while they're down, but to teach them, like, this is a learning lesson. It's always a silver lining in every bad thing that happens, whether it's a loss, whether it's whatever. It's always a silver lining, and it comes to that person that's going to lead them, which is the coach, who's going to eventually, like you said, build their character.
Yep.
So, like you said, that kid, whoever jumped outside, it could have been multiple kids. It maybe wasn't just one.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that's going to build character for them. And that's going to, and even if they are underclassmen, they're coming back next year, I guarantee you they're going to remember that from last year.
Yep.
And then they're going to be in that situation probably again. Maybe not in the semifinal, but I guarantee you they're going to be in a situation like that again. And they're going to learn from that and be like, nope.
Yep,
it's not happening.
And even the deeper meaning of it, when you get out in life, he won't jump off sides ever again. You know, he'll never make that mistake. Metaphorically, it will never happen to him again. He'll always have it in his mind, not even related to sports. Like me being disciplined, I need to be a more disciplined and focused person. You know what I mean? Like, that's what this could lead to. So I know a lot of y'all athletes out there probably don't understand it from this optic, but this is the mature version of what's going on. Like, this is what's happening. This is what y'all need to understand. It's going to make life so much easier when you could grasp the concept of these losses and learning and adversity and winning it. Like, it's not that deep. You know what I mean?
Sports, man, bro, sports teaches you a lot of life lessons that you don't even understand when you're a kid. Maybe some of them do.
Yeah.
But man, like being in my, and I, like when we first started this podcast, I was telling you, like when we were speaking with Caleb or whoever, I was telling you, I'm like, bro, there's so many things that I think about to this day that I learned from a coach.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I'm talking about I learned from a youth coach or I learned from a coach in high school or whatever. It's so many things that I use to this day that gets me locked in for one. Say if I'm like trying to get a certain job or whatever, or I'm trying to get like a certain thing done for work or whatever, I know to lock in. I know how to focus. I know how to pay attention to my P's and Q's and the little things that can like F something up. You know what I mean? And a lot of those techniques and things that I learned is from being under pressure in a sport, or maybe not having success in a sport, or understanding why we weren't, like, not having success, but understanding why we weren't having the success.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Maybe it may have been something that I had added to a loss or whatever, or maybe it been something that somebody else did, and I understand that from being a leader, like, yo, we got to pick this together. Maybe holding other people accountable, or being able to be held accountable by other people. A lot of those things that I learned was through sports, bro. Like through sports. So, and it all comes from the great leaders that I had coaching me when I was coming up. So, man, like, it's so much that sports do beyond the game for your development in life that you really gotta, like, you can't take it for granted at the end of the day. You cannot take it for granted. But at the end of the day, like, I do believe it all starts with who's at the top of that chain, or who's heading that program.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
So I hope athletes, see this, and coaches see this. You know what I mean? Because it needs to be said. You know what I mean? Like, it just needs to be said, bro. And just real quick, while we on this topic, I know me and you talked a little bit about like how we talk a lot about sports, and like our podcast is filled with like sport related content, but I think it's also important for us to tap into the real life aspect of it, which we just did, which was great, because a lot of athletes out there need that type of guidance, because a lot of them probably don't have somebody that can guide them through life or tell them what to do. They probably got a lot on their plate. A lot of guys' season have just ended and they're seniors, and they're like, all right, what's next for me? I don't know if I don't have no offers. I don't know if I could play ball at the next level. Like, what's next for me? And I feel like just with both of our experiences in our life and our professions and what we do, I think we could kind of guide through our platform and guide you guys, into what you want to do or possibly do, and give you options and different, insights and perspectives on things, man. Because to be honest, man, it's a whole world out there, bro. Like, the football season just ended, but man, the whole world is in front of you now. Like, it's really just starting for you.
Especially,
you know what I mean?
Seniors.
Yeah, for seniors.
For the seniors, man, like, even the ones that don't know if they're gonna be playing at the next level, they don't have any offers. I will say this. Think about if you really truly want to play. Like, like me going into college, finishing like sports and everything. I think going into my senior year starting football, I knew I wasn't gonna play at the next level. But I at the same time, I don't know even if I wanted to play at the next level, because I don't know I was gonna ever have an opportunity to play for football. But I think there was an opportunity for me to at least play college baseball, whether it was community college or whatever at South Suburban. I think it was an opportunity for me there. But something in me knew that I wasn't going to have the same dedication that I did when I was once in high school. So when I went to school, when I went into my senior year, I had the mindset of like, obviously, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm going to give it my all in football and baseball and everything. But I am going to also focus on my academics a lot, because I know that's going to be my thing when I get into college. Like, I know I'm gonna make sure that I get into a college that I can also get enough scholarship money so I can at least afford it, because I don't want to rely too much on student loans. I don't want to rely too much on financial aid. I want to at least put myself in a position to be able to afford, or at least condense the cost of me going to college. So I focused on my academics.
Right.
You know what I mean? That may not be the case for some people. Some people may the football, or whatever sport they play may have been that thing that was going to be their out. And if that is the case, then there are ways to figure out to get yourself seen, whether it's accumulating your film from the season to send it out to, colleges, whether it's D3 colleges, whether it's junior colleges. Like, there is a possibility to actually play at the next level. You just got to think. I mean, obviously you want to think big to say, oh, I'm D1, this, and that. But you also gotta be real with yourself, bro.
Yeah.
If you're not, like, if you don't have any D1 offers going into your senior year, 9 times out of 10, you're probably not going to go D1.
Exactly.
But like I said, there is an opportunity to still play at the next level. I know many guys that didn't have offers coming out of college. I mean, coming into our senior year for football, but they were able to play college football at the College DuPage, or maybe they played D3 at North Central or whatever. Like, I know that it's a possibility because I've seen people do it. So what I will say is that obviously you will probably know way better than me because you've actually helped get guys into like colleges to play football with helping them like with their recruitment and gathering film. But it's a possibility is what I'm really getting at. So you really got to understand, like, do you really want to play at the next level? And are you going to give it your all at the next level to want to play at the next level? And if you are, then it's a way to figure it out, bro. Like, don't sit here and bitch and moan about it. Figure it out. Like, and the way you figure it out is relying on your resources, whether it's your coaches, whether it's your mentors, whether it's whoever your mentor may be, whether it's your parents. It's ways to figure it out, but you got to have that curious mind of how do you get there, and you got to have that drive and how do you get there. And if sports is not in your realm, I will always encourage anybody to at least consider going to college, even if it's community college, because even those first 2 years of community college, and now obviously we only speaking for the seniors, even those first 2 years in community college, it will let you know that if you want to go beyond that point. Like, maybe you're like, it's not for me. I'd rather just start working. That's okay. But the one thing that you want to go into college with is a plan.
Yep.
You want to go in with a plan. You don't want to go in there blind because somebody told you to go. You want to go in with the plan. Maybe some people, like I know people, like some of my friends to this day that didn't go to college and it worked out pretty well for them.
Yeah.
But the one thing they did have is a plan.
Yep.
They didn't go in it blind saying like, oh yeah, I'm not going to college because I'm just going to chill. No, they were like, I'm not going to go to college because what I'm going to do is I'm going to work. I know I want to be in the kitchen. I know I want to work to be a manager of like a restaurant or whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work at a fast food restaurant first and try to become a manager real quick. And then eventually that'll turn into being an assistant GM. Eventually that'll turn into being a GM of a store. Yep. And the next thing you know, I may have multiple stores because I built all this experience.
Absolutely.
And that's eventually what happened for them.
Yep.
So you know what I mean? So they had a plan of like, they knew they wanted to be in food, but they knew they didn't want to go to school for it. They wanted to just get right into it.
Exactly.
So you got to just figure out a plan for yourself, whether it's academics, whether it's sports, or whether it's actually going into the work field. Your life, like, it's possible. You just got to come up with a plan.
Yeah.
What do you think about it though?
Yeah, no, same. The plan is the most important thing. Like college and school is not for everybody. Like you see some people go and then they come back home and they try to figure it out. Like it's not. So I would say try it, but like you said, have a plan. And my advice would to be go on YouTube. Like obviously there are majors that everybody knows about, whether it's in finances, education, science. It's a lot of different things that you go into. But I think it's important to do your due diligence on your own and see like 100%. what do you like doing? You know what I mean? And find a job that's kind of similar to that, and find a job that if it's about the money that pays well, that you can enjoy doing. Look that stuff up now. You can't just it's not random. None of this stuff is random.
Nope.
So I think you just need to go online and really do some research on majors out there, what career paths are available. And some people, even trades are a good thing. You know what I mean? Like HVAC, plumbing, electrician, like all of that stuff, welding, all of that stuff is good too. So also look into those paths because it's not all about college. There are different, paths that you can take, so really this is the research point for if you're a senior or even any level, any grade that you in. It's not too early to start researching and seeing things that you may have interest in, maybe going to some type of organizations that may provide classes for you, even in high school, like just going out there and figuring out your plan and then go there. And plans change. Maybe you start doing it and you come across something else, but at least you have a plan and you're on that trajectory trying to get to your goal. You know what I mean?
All the time. Like that's just life though. Life is going to always have curveballs and you're going to always have to pivot and you're going to always have to make adjustments. But the way I learned how to make adjustments was from experience and adversity in sports. Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like take a lot of the things that you learn in playing sports, like really take that to heart and think about how that translates into the real world. Yep. And like I said, I mean, the kids are young right now. So they're like, they're 17, 18, the seniors that we're talking about. So they're not going to quite understand probably fully what we're saying right now. But I guarantee you, if you come up with a plan and listen to the certain things that we're saying, it's gonna help you out in the long run.
Yeah,
bro.
And don't be afraid to reach out either.
Don't be afraid
like
to reach out at all.
Y'all,
this is what
bro.
the platform is for.
Yeah, like we here for y'all, bro. So message us, DM. We probably 100%. Can't respond to everybody as quickly as possible, but we'll get around to it. Just comment, DM, like, hey, I need help with this. What do you think about that? Film, anything like this is what the platform is for.
Yeah,
so
100%. That's how we give back.
Yep. So
and then we experienced it all. You know what I'm saying? Like we are here now because of the things because of our great decisions, but also because of our mistakes that we've made as well.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? All of that molds you into the person that you are. Right. You gotta, obviously accept the wins, but you gotta accept the wins just as much as the losses, bro. Because the losses are gonna eventually turn into wins.
Yep, definitely. So. Yep, and then as far as like football goes, like, man, if you don't have no offers and you trying to get recruited, I think the biggest thing is like understand that it's a selling point. Like you have to sell yourself. Like it's not nothing is just gonna come around the climate of college sports right now. Nobody's just gonna come knock on your door if they haven't already been looking at you. So you gotta market yourself through Instagram. Matter of fact, I'm glad this is a perfect time to talk about this. It's a lot of athletes that I see that say that they want to play at the next level, but their Instagram profile is trash.
Yep.
Like it's like your name should be in it, your first and last name, your real name, not no nickname, no made up names. Like if I'm a coach, even for us as media, when I'm trying to find certain players, I should be able to type your name in and you pop up. You shouldn't have
that is hard.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I did notice that when I was trying to
like bro,
players,
like and so if I'm a coach doing the same thing, I can't find you. So that slims your chance down right there because now I have to go out of my way to find you. I'm not doing that. I'm not going through all that. I know coaches aren't going through all that. And then second, they don't have no football stuff on their page. Like your page should be full of highlights. Every highlight you could get, you should be posting it multiple times a day, tagging every coach that you could possibly tag on Instagram, going on Twitter, the same thing. Your bio should be first and last name, height, weight, position, GPA, any other necessary information that they may need, and have your highlight pinned to the post. And you should be sending out 100 emails a day. Like when I was a coach, coaching at South, and I was doing a recruiting and sending out emails, I can't count how many emails I sent and phone calls I made for the athletes. And out of 1,000 emails, you might get 5 responses. But all I need is 5 to show some interest to get 1 offer. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it takes work to get recruited. And if you're not willing to put in the work, if you're not a 5-4, 3-star, somebody who got offers already and you're nobody, you got to act like you're nobody. Because if you just sit around hoping,
be realistic with
nothing going to happen. But there are universities out there that need players. Just think about it like this. It's a bunch of programs that athletes are leaving every year, whether it's transfer portal, whether it's grades, they're getting kicked off the team. There's always spots opening all around the country. And like you was just saying, you got to think outside the box. You got to expand your thinking as far as like, what opportunities do I have and are you willing to go chase it? You may have to go across the country. You may have to be in an uncomfortable place. You may have to. But if you really want to play at the next level, there's a spot for you. I tell everybody that there's a spot for you if you really, really want to, go on this grind and on this journey and make it happen. It's a space for you.
What they say is development over division.
Yeah, development over. That's the perfect saying. Development over division. It's not D1 or bust, man. Like it's talented players all around the country. You know what I'm saying? D2, D3, D1, NAIA, JUCO is talent out there. And guys are making it to the top, whether that be to the league or successful entrepreneurs or successful careers. It's a lot of guys out there who are successful, and it ain't about the division you go to. You could be Division 1 and sit the bench for 4 years, or you could be Division 3. It can be an All-American. Like, which one you choosing? You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to say you just played for Alabama, or you want to say I was really that guy? You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, bro. Like you said, it's a spot for everybody. You just got to be real with yourself.
You got to be real.
But just got to be real with yourself, man. It's okay to not, like, play at a D1 level if you're playing at JUCO or you're playing at an NAIA or you're playing at a D3. Like, that's fine, bro. But that development, that's all.
You got to put in the work.
Down to, you
got to put in the work.
You never know that first step. Like, who did we speak to? We had on the podcast that they were at Western.
BJ Braden,
yeah, he was at Western first and ended up leaving Western, going to a different school,
Notre Dame College in Ohio.
That's what I'm saying. That school led him to Coastal Carolina. Yep. So it was like, you think that would have happened with just him just sitting around and moping? No, he had to figure it out. He had to get creative, and he figured it out.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So,
it's
not like none of this. What we always say, none of this is by accident.
Right.
You know what I mean? None of this is by accident. None of this just happens. Like, it's not a fairy tale. It's not a movie. Like, it's real work behind everything that people do.
Yeah. Even this podcast, like, people will see our growth and what we've doing with the all season podcast, and you may look at it and think it's easy. Like, are we posting a lot? We doing a lot of work, but nobody sees the hours where you working and you get off working and you got to come podcast. I'm working like 14 hours editing. We editing all night. We sending iCloud messages, and you get like, nobody sees all the hard work it takes. They just see the product. They just see the result. Yeah. It's not by chance when you see the success in the page and the brand growing, because man, we putting in so much more work. We putting in a lot of work. You know what I mean?
If y'all didn't realize, we work full-time jobs.
Exactly. This ain't
and then do this.
Yeah. So it's like, man, we 30 hours a week on. I literally, somebody asked me about editing. I was talking to somebody. They were saying like, man, how long do it take for you to do all that editing and work that y'all do? I'm like, man, it's another job. It's another job, bro. It's when I'm not working, I'm working. Bro. So I would say a good 30 to 40 hours a week doing as far as filming, editing, planning. Like, yes, it's another job, literally. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's no days off.
No days off. It's really no days off.
It's no days off.
We don't even think of it that way. But because what they say, if you find something that you love doing and make it a job, you don't never have to work a day in your life.
Absolutely.
And I say this all the time, I love doing this. But the main reason why I love doing this is because it gives not only me, but us an opportunity to give back. And we always say the bigger our platform gets, the more easier it's going to be for us to give back to the athletes, because we're not doing this for ourselves. We're doing it for you all.
Exactly.
Like, we're doing it to provide a platform and spotlight to you all. The reason why we were so like going crazy about covering the SSC, because that was a conference we once played in, and we knew how it is when we don't get as much recognition as we do, when we know that there are ballers in that South Suburban Conference. Absolutely. So when we coming out doing this, yes, we're going to provide the most spotlight to the SSC, because we don't, the Catholic League or whatever doesn't need that spotlight, because they already have it. Mm-hmm. You're already going to have the big media brands going to those games. You're already going to have that. So why we're not doing anything to help them. We're just adding more to it. We're just more of the media that's going to cover those big brands. Right. But when it comes to those smaller schools or those smaller programs or whatever, those are the ones that also needs that light, because it makes it easier for them to get seen or get recruited or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's why, man, I just love doing this. Yeah. Bro. I really, really do love doing this.
And then also shout out to the creators too. Shout out to the other people doing, videographers and photographers out there.
I love that they always add us.
I love that, man. Keep adding us as collaborators. We're gonna accept them, man.
It's gonna help it's gonna help everybody at the end of the day.
Yeah, bro.
We don't ever have to think of this as it's a me versus you thing. This is a collective, bro. Like, this is a true collective that where everybody can truly win. If you're making taking a photo and you're editing it a certain way, obviously we're going to do our best to give you your credit, but if you want to add us as a collaborator as well, that's going to help your platform, that's going to help our platform, and it's going to help that person or whatever, or team or whatever who's in that picture. It helps everybody that's involved in it. You know what I mean? Because think about it like this: how are we going to be able to provide spotlight or coverage to anybody if there's no team?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, how am I going to be able to take a picture of this player if they're not on the field playing?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, like, all of us help each other in some way, shape, or form, and at the end of the day, everybody wins.
Yep. And we just have to keep the goal in sight. The goal is to blow up this area of sport. Like, it's to highlight everything that everybody's doing. So the bigger everybody get, like, that's what it 100%. Is. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody gets that national exposure. If these teams are playing out their mind and they playing a nationally ranked teams and they winning and we covering and it's going viral, hundreds of thousands of views, millions of views, everybody eating from that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's getting recognition from that. The videographers, the podcasters, the photographers, the teams, the schools. Like, we just this is all working to put Illinois, Indiana, this area on the map. Like, that's the goal, and we can't lose sight of the goal. It's not about the money. We not making money going out shooting these films. We not making money from this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we putting in all this work because we're trying to grow our platform, and to, don't get me wrong, to get an opportunity to be able to make money, and that way,
to do this full
time and help teams and do all that stuff. But man, right now we grinding. You know what I'm saying? We just grinding it out, and we just trying to do our best to highlight everything. You know, that's what it's about. I'll tell people, you want to know the cheat code? Showing love.
Yep.
That's the cheat code. Showing love is the cheat code. If you got a platform and your sole foundation is showing love and supporting people, I guarantee you people going to watch you, they're going to follow you, they're going to like your stuff, they're going to gravitate towards you, because it's not a lot of organic, authentic people out here. You know what I'm saying? So when you do that, it's appreciated. It's love.
When you serving first, bro, everything else is going to fall in line. When you only thinking selfishly about yourself and about the money, then that's when things get harder. That's when people don't want to gravitate towards you and ever. So if you're a servant first, bro, like, everything, and you doing things for the right things, you're not doing it for a self entitlement or self growth or whatever, bro, everything is gonna fall in line. Like you said, we're not making money off this, and to us that's okay. We love doing this, bro. We're not doing this to make money. We're doing this to give back. And like I said, like you said, that this is a second job, but to me, honestly, it doesn't feel that way.
No, I don't.
You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy going to games every weekend to film them, because not only do I enjoy watching them, but I just love being in that atmosphere. It almost makes me feel like I'm back on that field about to play. You know what I mean? So I enjoy doing those things. But not only that, I enjoy being able to make a video, a voiceover, and highlight like a Miles Mitchell that's going off and highlight that he went off. But also on the flip side, that kid from Kankakee, James Stampley, I was happy to see that, oh, snap. Richards may have won the game, but he needs to be recognized as well, because he went off. He did everything he could to help his team win, and they may have fell short, but that needs to be recognized. You know what I mean? So little things like that, when we go into these spaces or whatever, it's like, obviously I'm going for my enjoyment, but it's like, who can I spotlight this day, or who is doing something that's a story there or whatever. So it's like, man, I enjoy doing all of that, bro. I really enjoy doing all of that.
Yeah, and then for me, it's just like being who you needed when you was younger. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like being able to give guidance to these athletes and these young men and women, like to being able to tell them the information that I wish I knew. Like, you know, like we all have that. If I would have known this, I would have done this differently. 100%. You know what I mean? I get to help you avoid mistakes that you would make if you didn't have, you know, somebody guiding you. And that's like, man, that's like, it's almost selfish. I think I heard a quote like that. Like, that's the most selfish thing you can do, because you get the most gratification from helping people. Like, there's nothing, no greater thing that you can do than help somebody. You know what I'm saying? So I just get this gratification that no amount of money, no amount of exposure or fame can replicate the feeling of knowing that you really helped somebody get to where they wanted to be.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, man, I love this. And when one day we'll be able to do it full time and be able to help so many people and highlight and spotlight, and this is what it's all about, man.
But as long as we keep doing the things we're doing in a very authentic way to serve people, man, it's gonna work out. But I definitely want. I know we got away from it a little bit. Definitely want to talk about the state finals predictions.
Yeah, dang, we did. Dang, that was like, we wasn't even supposed to spend that much time on that.
But it got real though.
Yeah,
it got real conversation. Yeah, but state finals, we're gonna be covering 5A to 8A.
Yep.
I believe 5A starts on Saturday at 10 a.m. That will be between Nazareth and Joliet Catholic. Rematch of last year's 5A state finals, right? Mm-hmm. Nazareth won last year, if you all didn't know.
Yep.
Who do you got in that game? I think I already know my predictions.
Naz.
Yeah, I got Naz too.
Naz.
Nothing against Joliet Catholic. The only thing is just that I haven't seen them play this year.
Yeah.
Or we got to see Naz play St. Rita. They dominated St. Rita.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about the Catholic League, they all just beat up on each other. Yeah. So it's like seeing the way Naz has been playing this year and just following them as well. They just beat down. Did they lose to St. Francis?
They lost to St. Francis,
early in the year.
Yeah, yep. They lost,
and they just dominated them this last game. So like I said, beginning of the season, end of the season could be night and day. And it looks like they've only gotten better. That's not a knock against Joliet Catholic. I just think Naz will probably be victorious in that. Would that be back to back or three-peat? I know they won last year, so probably back to back.
Yeah. But I was gonna say that last year when they won it, it was like a rocky season for them.
Oh yeah, it was a rocky first 4 games.
Yeah, it was a rocky season for them. But this year they've been dominating. You know what 100%. I'm saying? So they've dominated their way to the state final. So yeah, man, I like the way that they've been playing. High power offense. Like, man, I'm gonna go Naz. But like I said, I just wish I've seen a little bit more of Joliet to, you know what I mean? Like, just see it to evaluate. But yeah, the way Naz has been playing, I'm gonna go with Naz on that one.
100%, me as well. The next class, 6A, East St. Louis versus Geneva. I really thought it would have been East St. Louis versus Cary Grove. Yeah. I think we was even promoting the East St. Louis. We was. Even in the comments for the Richards highlights, they were saying like, oh yeah, East St. Louis gonna lose to that Cary Grove option
triple option
offense. Yeah. But it's East St. Louis versus Geneva.
Yeah.
You already know my pick. East St. Louis. I've been saying it the whole season. I think East St. Louis is probably one of the best high school football teams I've seen in person play, and I think they're clearly one of the best teams in the nation, and they're obviously unequivocally the best team in the state, to the fact that I think they would have won the 8A state championship against Loyola. But I digress. They're in 6A. They're playing Geneva. I think they're going to win. I'm not going to go as far as say it's going to be a blowout, because I did see those highlights of Geneva playing Cary Grove, and Geneva ain't no scrubs, but I do see East St. Louis winning that game.
Yeah. I won't bet against them again.
Yeah.
I think I did it like twice already.
Yeah,
But,
East St. Louis legit,
East St.
bro.
Louis, they legit. And I was watching film
But
on them
Geneva
too.
is legit too. That's not knocking Geneva.
Yeah,
So they got some dogs over there too.
Yeah, but that's gonna be a good one. But yeah, I will have to go with East St. Louis on that one.
7A. You said it's probably going to be the game
of the day,
the
game of the weekend, game of the state, state finals.
Mount Carmel versus Batavia.
Ooh, I can't wait for that one.
We saw Batavia play against Glenbard West earlier this year.
Yeah.
They dominated. We saw Mount Carmel play against Loyola. They lost, but they also didn't play their best game. And I could see that even as a spectator, I can tell like, oh, this is not them on their best day.
Yeah.
But they did just dominate St. Rita.
Yeah.
And I believe they've been dominating all through 7A.
Yeah.
So I don't know where I'm gonna go with this, but if I'm a betting man and going based off what I've seen in person, I will have to go Batavia.
Man.
I would have to go Batavia. And the main reason why I say their running back, Nathan, I don't know if it's Whitewell or Whitwell. But he is a big, stocky guy. And he was running the shit out of the ball when they played Glenbard. Bro, you saw the highlights, bro. He was running through people, bro. Like the first touchdown he scored against Glenbard West, I was not even ready. And I ended up zooming in on him instead of zooming out because he ran so fast. But he was running through people. And the one thing that I seen Loyola do well against Mount Carmel is run the ball on them, mainly with Drew McPherson. And Drew McPherson, he's a slimmer guy, but he's more shifty. But Nathan Whitwell is like a big, stocky guy. He's going to run through you.
Yeah, and then,
so I mean, I see that being a success and a difference maker for Batavia
and Isaiah Brown, receiver.
Oh yeah, receiver. But yeah,
we interviewed him at North Central. Yeah. So he's been going crazy.
That went by fast.
And we interviewed a lot. We interviewed Jacob Bell there from Naperville North. Bro. It's been a journey, bro.
It's really been a journey because it don't even seem like it, bro.
Yeah, but back to that though, man. I'm not betting against Mount Carmel. I'm not betting against Mount Carmel, bro. I'm gonna take Mount Carmel. They've been there, done that.
Would this be a three-peat for them as well? Whoa!
So we got a chance for 2 3-peats, Loyola and Mount Carmel.
Yep, and then the back-to-back with Nazareth.
Well, I should bet against Mount Carmel because if they win, it won't help with they should play in their own playoff conversation. If Mount Carmel and Loyola 3-peat, they're gonna be like, man, they need to be in there.
But what were we talking about earlier? Mount Carmel got a lot of younger guys on their team. Like their top receivers are underclassmen.
Yep, and they got a lineman that's 14 years old that's starting on varsity. I know Coach Lynch was saying that's the first time in Mount Carmel history that a freshman is starting.
They have a pipeline of athletes coming through that program. So, man. So you got Mount Carmel.
Yeah, I got
Batavia, and then the Class 8A. We wish it could have been Lincoln Way East versus Loyola.
Yeah, they robbed us. Hopefully that next year, IHSA next year. The final has to be
different.
Loyola and Lincoln Way.
Lola's losing a lot of their team.
You know
what I'm saying? They probably got a pipeline just like
because that's what we were saying about Mount Carmel this year, that they lost a lot of their guys from last year, and they back in the same spot. It didn't even change nothing. So I think those Catholic schools are got a lot of depth, and they could lose a senior class, but the guys that's sitting on the bench, they ready to fill those roles.
They do a good job with molding their development of guys.
Yep. So
Loyola versus York.
Yep.
Loyola versus York. I've seen Loyola. Loyola's probably the one team I've seen play the most this year outside of Richards. And like I said, every time I see Loyola play, they've gotten better every single time. And the thing that I don't want to say it goes unnoticed, but they are probably the most disciplined team I've seen play by far this whole year.
Yeah.
They don't really make mistakes. And not only do they don't really make mistakes, they get the other team to make mistakes. You know what I mean? Like I was saying this last game, you could say there's many reasons why Lincoln Way East lost this last game, but what it really came down to of what caused them to lose the game, to not give themselves a chance, is not being disciplined at the end with them jumping off sides.
Right.
And like you said, like Loyola, like I said, Loyola could have easily jumped off sides there too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But they remained disciplined. So I would have to say Loyola. I'm not going to go as far as say it's going to be a blowout. I know everybody else is probably thinking that. But I do see Loyola winning. And the thing that they do well, I mean, they know their players well. The thing that they did well against Lincoln Way East is they got it to their best player on offense. Fight me if you want, but Drew McPherson is clearly their best player.
Bro, Drew McPherson has been balling since his freshman year.
Yeah,
like,
so
he's
it's
been doing
like
this for a long time.
but the thing that they did well against Lincoln Way East, and they did well against Mount Carmel, that they did well against any other game that I saw, they get him the ball. Yeah. They find ways to get him the ball, whether it's in Wildcat, whether it's handing it off to him, whether it's on a little bubble screen or whatever. They're going to find a way to get him into the open field, and they're going to find a way to get him the ball. Like, he is a dog. Yeah. DAWG. But no, I do see Loyola pulling out. And like another thing, this is their third time being there. They brought back pretty much the same team from last year. I mean, good teams just know how to win. They know how to get there. They know how to win. They know how to not lose.
All right.
So,
yeah, I think we even on that one, Loyola.
Yeah, but we're going to be at all of those games on Saturday. Will we make full game highlights of all of those? Probably.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
We came this far. Why not?
Yeah. That ended the season off with a bang.
Yeah, we have 4 games that we have.
4 games.
4 games.
Yeah. And it's nothing against the other classes, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just we gotta have.
It's only so much we
it's
can
only
do.
So much
it's only 2 of
us,
you know.
There's only 2 of us, so like we would love to cover the other classes as well, but we just don't have the time to do so. But we do have that time.
Shout out to Paul College Prep. They playing
the
4A.
4A. Yeah.
Shout out to them too. We haven't covered them at all. I mean, it is so many.
I was even
talking
to one of my homies about that. He coaches one of their feeder programs. I can't remember the name of the feeder program, but he was saying that a lot of those guys from the feeder program go to the Paul College Prep and look at them now.
And the basketball team won a state championship last year. So
yeah,
man, yeah. It's
basketball's coming up too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we got to get to that, man.
Yeah, bro. Insane. But yeah, we covered that. What other things we can cover real quick before we get out? I know there's other things on the agenda. With the season being close to an end, obviously we have 1 more week left with the state championship. The one thing, and I was telling you about it, but the one thing that I want to do, and I think that we'll probably have more access to them now. We got to get some athletes on the podcast, bro.
Yeah.
Like, we obviously during the football season, we fell back off of podding the most because we want to focus more on the full game highlights. But we really want to get a lot of the athletes on the podcast. I mean, we filmed a lot of high school games this year. We would love to get a lot of the teams that we did film and a lot of athletic directors that let us come and film. We would love to get a lot of y'all on the podcast, bro. I know Richards is in mind because SSC boys. Right. We definitely got to get Richards on there.
Yeah, we got to catch Miles before he leaves because I think he's early enrolling in North Dakota State. So I'd love to get Miles on.
I'd love to get Andre Lovett on too because I know he's early enrolling too at Illinois.
Yep.
Loyola will probably be an option. We covered a lot of them this season. Maybe we want to break down. Hopefully they do 3-peat. Yeah. But even if they don't, you know what I mean. They've clearly had great success with that team they have over there. We'd love to get them on, man. Anybody, you know what I mean? So it's we'd love to get a lot of the athletes on, football athletes with the season being over, you know what I mean? Like maybe
get a chance to tell your story, help you get recruited, you know what I'm saying? Like anything you can to get, put yourself out there and get some exposure. So we definitely we'll be in basketball season. Got the Chicago Classic coming up. Can't wait to get out there. But once we
man, they need to hurry up and get us our approval,
Chicago
man. Like
Classic,
what is going on,
man?
But then again, like you said last year, they gave us our media passes probably like a week before. So
for sure. So
man, man, it's going to be with football season in. There's another season that's starting with basketball. Yeah. Shout out Nazir Rankin for going crazy in his first game. He put up 30 points.
Put a 30,
was it bro. 30 points, 7 assists, and 3
I don't know,
something.
But he crazy, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
Man, he ain't waste no time. He got right off the field dropping 30.
It's crazy, too,
bro. Crazy, man. We got to get him on the podcast, too. We got to get some more
MP on the podcast. Talk about whether, that was a great season they had. They may have came up short losing to Morris in the quarterfinals, but great season that they have. Coach CJ over there is doing great things for the program, so definitely would love to get them on. We already have Marcus Stackson on, but we'd love to have him on with a lot of the other guys as well.
Yeah, and shout out Marcus, man. It's crazy to me that he's getting under recruited in the state of Illinois, man. He's really one of the best quarterbacks that's out there still. And I mean, come on, like Western, Eastern, Northern, Southern, like, come on, man. Like, he's one of the top quarterbacks in the state, man. Give my man's a look, bro. Like, come on. What you got? Eastern, Western, which y'all got to lose, man. Illinois State, like, man, give him a shot, bro. He really liked that. He really liked that.
Yeah, they whole team is like that. So I'm pretty sure some season just about to end. So I'm pretty sure you got some time for sure.
So I'm gonna come through for him.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Football season, man. I can't believe we are already at the end of the high school football season.
Our first official season, because we covered, we quote unquote covered last year, but this year we covered, like, you know what I'm saying? We ain't really covered last year.
We was actually out here.
But yeah, we was actually out there seeing people. It's cool seeing people that recognize us from the pod, you know, saying what's up and stuff. Yeah, we appreciate it, man, for real, bro. Like,
yeah, I saw a kid from Shepherd. I was at the tree lighting ceremony, like sometime, was it like last Friday? I can't remember his name, but he was a kid from Shepherd. He came up to me and noticed me, and I like followed him and everything. It was cool to see. But I'm sorry, he didn't play for Shepherd. He played for Argo. Okay, my bad. Sorry.
No, how you get that one wrong?
Yeah, they right up. No, he played for Argo. But yeah, he was like a junior, and he was like, man, I followed the podcast and everything. So shout out him for sure. But yeah, I love all the love we get for sure. Like I said, the bigger the platform grows, the more we can help out the players. And everybody that follows us, and we can, you know, consistently give back. Last thing, did
it stop?
Huh?
Audio did it stop?
Oh, no, I kept going. It was no, I kept going.
All right.
It kept trying to switch to my camera microphone. Anywho, last thing, merch, apparel. We're finally getting into apparel. After, I mean, well, I guess this is probably the right time to get into it. Our following's grown bigger. First shirts is going to be, this is just a mock-up, so this is not the actual shirt it's going to be, but this is what the shirt will look like. It says BTA. Everybody knows what that stands for. That's going to be our first shirts. If you haven't already subscribed to our,
it's a broadcast channel.
The broadcast channel on Instagram.
Join our broadcast channel.
Join our broadcast for sure. That's where we're going to put like a lot of the updates with the shirts and many other things that we plan to do in the off season, no pun intended. But we definitely want to get these shirts out to a lot of the spectators and even the players or whatever. We're going to be making a lot of apparel, getting into that space heavy. We doing a lot of things in the back end to get that stuff together, but be on the lookout for it. This will be the first release, BTA. Don't need to say what it is, but you already know. Belt Boys Association. But definitely want to provide this to the fans. It's a heavy cotton tee, very nice quality. So even if you wash it a few times, we want to make it a little bit more fashionable. Yeah. So you actually want to wear it, and it's not just like a simple t-shirt. Right. So yeah, just be on the lookout for that. It's gonna be here sooner than you realize. And we're gonna have more shirts. I know you also put the mock-up of the Change the Rankings. We're gonna definitely try to get that out to y'all as well. And then we're gonna have many different types of ideas and shirts coming out. But the only way you will get to it first and see what we're dropping first is in that broadcast channel. So definitely subscribe to that on the Instagram. Also subscribe to our YouTube. If you haven't already, check out the full game highlights between Leakaway East and Loyola. It was a great one. A little bit anticlimactic, but it was also a great one. And if also go ahead and check out all the highlights from the season, there was a lot of great games that we did cover. Check those out, man. Keep following off season. Keep following us as we transition into basketball. We're going to try to do the same thing with going out to games, getting some full game highlights, see how much we can cover. The Chicago Classic will probably be the first one we get out to. We may get out to one before that. We'll see. But keep following us, man. As this platform grow, we're nothing without the people that, follow us. So definitely go ahead, tell your friends, tell your moms, tell your kids, whatever. Subscribe to the YouTube, follow us on Instagram. And we're going to keep bringing y'all the great sport content in the country as well as in the local area. So anything you want to say?
Yeah, and then real quick, I want to mention if anybody's in the area that need training, any football players, reach out to Coach Marvin. Coach Marv. He has exotic athletes. Yeah, this is actually his shirt. They have apparel, but they also have training. So they'll be doing like plyometrics, strength training, football stuff for any guys interested that need it. That's in the Lansing area. So it'll be at BYOB Fitness in Lansing, Illinois. So any athletes that's near the Lansing area that's looking for some work or looking for some merch, reach out to Coach Marv. I'll post a story of his flyer and mention the page so that you can follow him and get some work in, man. Now's the time. All of the athletes that, you know, fell short for whatever goal that they had, whether it be starting certain stats, a championship, conference, whatever it is, the work starts now to get prepared for next fall. You know what I mean? Like, it don't start in the summertime. It starts now.
In the off season.
It starts now. Hey, that's why the name's so perfect. Like, off season, like that's the perfect sports name. You feel me? So
yeah, you don't. Obviously, you get better in season, but the real work begins in the off season.
For sure.
The stuff that nobody sees, man.
Off season.
Shout out us, man. Well, you got anything else you want to plug?
That's it, man.
All right. Well, this is the Off Season Podcast, episode 28. Good luck to everybody that's participating in the state finals this weekend. Good luck to all y'all. Man, it's 4 Catholic League teams this time. I think we had a prediction earlier this year over or under. Yeah, 4 Catholic League teams this year.
Yeah, it's 4.
Yeah, was it 5 last year?
Yeah, because I think Montini's in too.
Yeah.
I mean, but Montini's in too, so I think it's 5.
Okay, so
I think it's 5, so Montini's in.
Congrats to them, but good luck to everybody in state.
Hey,
May
public
the odds be ever in your favor, my friends.
Hey, public schools, y'all got to sweep the series, man. Let's go public schools.
Yeah, but this is the Off Season Podcast, episode 28. We out.